Alliance Insight is almost upon us, so I think it's about time we do a new in-depth guide. Hey guys, Otaku here, back with another video, and today we are going to be doing a Alliance Insight in-depth guide to Malice. So with the Forbidden and Limited list having messed with the ratios and hitting very specific cards for the deck, but also on top of that, Alliance Insight bringing the new Adagnister cards, which we will most definitely be playing, things are changing. And I know I just uploaded an Alliance Insight Malice video the other day, but realistically, it wasn't like an in-depth guide showing on how to properly play the deck. So today we're going to be looking at what is most likely going to be like the deck build with some minor changes given on how the format looks, but also certain techs that may get discovered. But also we will be discussing multiple combos, and at the end of the video, I will show you the best board I've made so far. Before we do jump on into the guide, though, I do want to remind you all that I am currently doing a Malice Core giveaway that ends on May 1st. And if you would like an opportunity to win the Malice Core, then all you have to do is like this video, subscribe to the channel, and answer the following 3 questions at the end of the video. It is also not required, but consider joining my community Discord and following me over on Twitch to further support the channel. And also, if you want to buy some shiny cardboard, consider hitting that TCG affiliate link. All the links will be in the description below. But with all that, let's go ahead and jump on into the in-depth guide of Alliance Insight Malice. Alright, so before we do jump on into the deck list, as the past few in-depth guides, I like to talk about the pros and cons of the deck before we really get into the nitty-gritty of how the deck is being built and cards to look out for. So to start, the pros is quite simple. The deck's going to be ending on at least 1 Omni Negate, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, but there's a potential for 2 Omni Negates on the end board. We have 1,000 ways to extend. If you're playing Link Spider, you are able to play under Nibiru, something that current Malice does struggle with at times, especially with Decoder being banned. The deck now has access to Circular, which, as I mentioned in last week's video, has the ability to be a 1-card combo. If you open just Circular, you are able to use it to not only find your Malice names, but then use them to your access, so that way you can commit to a vastly bigger end board. Another thing is and this contributes kind of to the point I made about the Omni Negates, is the end board is very difficult to crack to the point where it's almost impossible. And I could definitely see a lot of people really complaining more than they already have about Malice in post Alliance Insight, because the deck has the ability to just kind of win the game if it is allowed to go untouched throughout the entire combo, or at the very least, if they get to a Code Talker, they are probably just winning the game, meaning that if you hand trap them 2 or 3 times and they still get to a Code Talker, then you have 2 cards in hand and then you draw for turn. Most likely, whatever they still have available to them, they have an Omni Negate and probably GWC, so it's going to be really hard to crack their boards. And then the last real pro of the deck is that it's playing a lot less bricks now. The deck doesn't at any point need to play Dotscaper. If you're playing Dotscaper in this version of the deck, then I don't know, you gotta get some stuff figured out because it's not necessary anymore. March Hare solves a lot of the problems that the deck has had up to this point. Having that in-archetype Bestial that can interact on your opponent's turn, and also being able to just blanket over Nibiru is really helpful. That even if you banish all your main deck names, you are typically safe from being hit with Nibiru because of March Hare. Malice in the Mirror is just really good because if you actually end on it, which typically you're not, you're using it to further extend or find the March Hare, then it is also just there for a further negation, but also just extra play pattern because it banishes a Malice name from the field. But also a lot of the engines just find themselves. The Mathmech engine can find the Adagnisters, and then the Adagnisters can find Malice, and Cynet can find any of the names. A lot of the engines are just really finding each other and being able to really play. The deck has the ability to play under Lancia now, so overall the deck has vastly improved, and that's saying a lot because the deck was already really good. As for the cons, it is very high ceiling. Malice has already been a very high ceiling combo deck, and it only gets higher because the Adagnisters, and if you play the Mathmech cards, you don't have to, but if you are playing them, it is further increasing. Every resource matters. Even I'm still really bad at using the resources correctly, so that way you can utilize each body to its fullest potential. So it really takes a very skilled player and a very skilled pilot to be able to use every body available to its fullest and end on the most significant end board. Also, on top of that, like, yes, the deck has ways to play under Lancia, and we'll get into this into the combos, but if you don't see the very specific cards, we are still just losing the Lancia. Same with like Nibiru. Without Decode Talker, we are playing harder into Nibiru, and that makes things a little difficult. If you open like the wrong hand, or like just not enough of like extenders, then Nibiru can still just auto win the game against you. And then like lastly, and we'll get into this when we get into the deck build, but the extra deck is like really tight, is like, in my opinion, the biggest con right now, because there's a lot of cards that feel like a big must going into the next format. And we'll talk about this when we get to like the extra deck, but examples are like Almirage and Link Spider just feel like big musts if you want to be able to continue playing the game under certain hand traps or with certain hands. So the extra deck feels very tight, and because of that, Metaltronus feels less playable, a less viable option, but that's fine because we have a bunch of extenders in the deck as it is, whereas Metaltronus pre-Alliance Insight has been used for extension but also to crack a board. But I don't know, like we'll figure things out as like the format officially begins and things start to really like form themselves. All right, so first things first, we are ditching DB. DB, I have made one too many mistakes on in past videos where I have made illegal moves, and you all correct me in the comment section. So it's time to whip out a simulator so that way I can no longer make illegal moves, because God forbid I just read my cards. Now, this is a rough draft of what the build will probably look like. Obviously, ratios and what techs get played will change based on what is discovered, what shows results, and whatnot. That being said, though, so far in my testing, this is what has shown the best results. So we are playing Bestials, but we are kind of on a lower count simply because we do have the March Hare, which is an in-archetype Bestial, but also there is a lot of Cyberse locks in the deck between Splash Mage, Wizard, and Sigma, that there are just a lot of opportunities where you draw into a Bestial and it's no longer a live card. So because of that, I actually have been considering cutting Bestials down to just one of each, the Magnemite, the Druisworm, and the Baldrake. Haven't quite gotten there yet. In terms of the Ad Ignister cards, we are running the 1 Wizard, 2 backup. I have considered running 3 backup. However, she is not as good at 3 simply because she's only good if you can get a link onto the board, which if you have bad opening hands, sometimes that's just not possible. I am playing a very small MathMech engine. We are playing Circular, Equation, and MathMech Sigma. It's a very just condensed engine. We don't need to go head honcho over it. The cool thing here, and we'll get into this in the combos, but Circular plus a Malice name or backup plus a Malice name can play under Lancia, which is very important. Both engines are just extenders that if you see both engines, you just win the game automatically, essentially. But each engine just gives you extra bodies that'll help you extend further and be able to play under, like, if you get hit with a Nibiru early on. The only thing is like backup doesn't lock you, whereas Wizard does. So like you can still summon backup and search. Whereas if you go the Circular route, you're probably summoning Sigma pretty quickly. And on top of that, you will be locked into Cyberse pretty quickly. But Circular is a just 1 card combo if you are able to just pull it off, which is really good. For the Malice names, we are running 2 Chessy Cat, 2 Rabbit, 2 Dormouse, and 3 March Hare. I've considered flipping the March Hare and the Chessy Cat ratios because March Hare on her own isn't combo. Like, you can't just have like a Bestial plus March Hare to go full combo, whereas you can have a Bestial plus the other names to be able to go full combo. But March Hare is like really valuable because she's an in-archetype Bestial that can banish from the hand as well, so she can like help you extend further in that regard. But also she gives you like that blanket protection against Nibiru to help you be able to extend, because even if you've banished all your names, if you have a March Hare in hand, you can just banish 1 and get her on the board so you have a Malice name in rotation. The rest of the Malice cards, we are playing 2 Underground because it is limited to 2, obviously. One of the Malice in the Mirror, it is an extender, and obviously it can help you break a board if you like open it. Realistically, this is what we're banishing off the Malice and Underground so that we can play under Nibiru like really well, and I will get into it a little later. We're playing the 1 Signet. And we'll talk into this when we get to the cards that are like in the side deck area, but Signet just felt good because Sign It helps you get to like all of your stuff. You can either search a Malice name, you can search backup, you can search circular, whatever you're looking for to help you further play the game. And then everything else is pretty much just non-engine. We're playing 3 Droll and Lockbird, 3 Ash, 3 Dominus Impulse, 3 Imperm, and then we're playing the 1 Talents. The extra deck is still like a work in progress, but I'm very slowly starting to mold like the fine tunings of the extra deck to really find like the spot that I really like. However, we'll talk about it when we get into like the side deck cards as well, why like some things are weird and how they are. But we're looking at 1 A code, 1 Firewall, 1 Access code, 1 of each of the Malice names, Transcode, Little Knight, Splash Mage, Wicked, Haggard Lizardos, IP Masquerena, Link Spider, Lingaribo, and Owl Mirage. So Owl Mirage feels like a must, and we'll get to this when we get to the combos, but we have a lot of scenarios where if you don't open any Malice names, but you open like backup and you open like 2 Ash Blossoms, all you have to do is normal summon Ash Blossom, make Owl Mirage, summon backup, and then backup will kind of like get you to combo because you haven't fully like committed to anything. So you just go back up, search like Dormouse, and then discard the Dormouse, and then use the backup and the Owl Mirage to make Haggard, and then Haggard banish the Dormouse. So it's still like full combo essentially if you open like a hand trap plus backup. So Owl Mirage just feels like a kind of a must. It's also just that extra link 1 that you can use if it does come up, so it's not like all for none. Link Spider I really didn't want to play, but the deck does heavily extend into Nibiru now, and if you want to try and like end on respectable boards, Link Spider does feel helpful, especially if you get nibbed, because there was a lot of scenarios in my testing where I was like, okay, we're in a really good spot. If I get nibbed, it's not like the worst thing in the world, but we don't end on like a board that's gonna like matter a lot. Whereas if you get nibbed, you go Link Spider, and then we still have further extension from there. So Link Spider just, it feels like a must, but I could foresee like, depending on how popular Nib is, which I don't see why he wouldn't be, because Crossout's put to 1 now, Link Spider will probably be a must as well. Wicked's making a return because Wicked can just search the Adagnister cards. It can search Sigma if you just need like that extender and you already opened backup. So Wicked just feels kind of good. Also, Link 2s are funny enough like really valuable in this version of the deck, because that way we don't have to commit 3 bodies to a Link 3. We could commit a Link 2 plus 1 to get there. Splash Mage is a lot more popular in this version because there's a lot of areas where you just would prefer just hitting yourself with the lock right out the gate rather than trying to go Haggard and open yourself up. The issue is a lot of lines I'm seeing people do on the Yugi Tube side of things is they go Dormouse, Dormouse banish Rabbit, Rabbit come back, Rabbit set TB11 or GWC, whichever, and then they make Splash Mage instead of Haggard. The issue is like if you don't have an extension after that, and they imperm your Splash Mage, you're just not playing. Whereas like Haggard, they're gonna banish the Dormouse whether you get impermed or not. Dormouse come back and then you make Ransom. That being said, what you do after Ransom is heavily dependent on if you went Splash Mage or Haggard, and what else is in your hand. So it really just depends what's in your hand, whether you go Splash Mage first or you go Haggard first. Obviously, if you go Splash Mage, you're not making Haggard at all, but it's just heavily dependent. Transcode, again, feels like a must here, whereas like in early versions of the deck before Alliance Insight, Transcode kind of fell flat because we were summoning a lot of Bystials, and if you summon anything other than a Cyberse at any point in the turn, you can't use his revive effect, whereas there's a lot of manipulation in the deck where you can just play it without summoning Haggard or Little Knight or a Bystial, so that way you can go Transcode, revive back a Link 2 or something to make something on your turn, and then you can bring back Transcode off A code to have co-linked non-targetable shit. I like Transcode. Again, it helps you play under Lancia, and we'll get into the combos with that later. And then there's not much to talk about here. Firewall is getting summoned a lot more in this version of the deck too, and not in the way we're doing it in early versions where we were like using it to get like 2 names back from the graveyard on our turn and then be able to like summon Cat, draw 2. Like what we were doing with Terahertz plays, we're not really doing that this time around. We're actually ending on Firewall, who is live. So, and Firewall keeps bouncing back and forth between something that's in my side deck spot here, and then obviously the A code or the allied code, whatever you want to call it. Cards to consider is Metaltronus. As you can see, I'm not running Metaltronus, and Metaltronus is like Ryzeal's worst nightmare, and it is good against plenty of other decks. It's good against the mirror. It's a good card, In Malice, it's really good because it can be treated as like an extender. That being said, we don't really have the extra deck space to be committing to like Typhon or Detonator or whatever. So it's like a little complicated. You can put this somewhere if you just decide, hey, I don't want to run Haggard, or hey, I don't want to run Transcode or Lingaribo or Link Spider or Almirage, like whatever. Like if you find things that you decide you want to cut, more power to you and Meltronus. This is just personally, in my testing, I've found that like the extra deck is really tight this time around because we are playing Wicked and Allied Code more often, and Transcode just feels really good under Lancia. So like arguably you could put Transcode in the side deck if you absolutely wanted to. Terraforming to find the field spell. The field spell is obviously still good. Gold Sark is just a starter, obviously. I decided to cut it because it's just we're running a lot of engines that like don't really need it as much. Like we have ways to really find plays regardless. The backup can get to the Malice cards. The circular plays can get to the Malice cards. So it's like we have ways to find the Malice cards even if we don't open them. Allure is still good. It's a free draw too, and you can banish. Like if you just open like Allure plus the March Hare, then like it is just Pot of Greed because it's gonna bring back to your hand and you're drawing 2. Same with like if you go Chess Cat, banish March Hare. It's really just up to you. I just found the undesire to lose to Droll. We're already playing Signet Mining. We're already playing Circular to search the equation. So losing to Droll just is already kind of there, and I didn't want to like lose further to Droll. Card that I have been toying with, and this is what I was talking about with Signet, is AI Meet You. For those who don't know what this card does, is reveal 1 Cybers monster with 2300 attack in your hand or extra deck. Add 1 Adignister monster with the same attribute from your deck to your hand. So you just reveal like a Malice, a Link, and then add backup because they're both dark. And on the end phase of this turn, take 2300 damage if you did not special the revealed monster or a monster with the same name after you resolve this effect. We obviously would be summoning, like we'd be revealing like Ransom and then summoning Ransom later. So like that's irrelevant. My issue with this card is it only searches the Adignisters. We have Wicked for that. But if you wanted to cut Wicked, I could see this card getting played. It's not searchable is the problem, whereas like Wicked is just summonable, which means you can always search the backup card. But at the end of the day, like Signet can search any of them, whereas this only searches Adignisters. So it's like, would you trade the very hyper-specific search versus the vague search that can search anything in your deck? I'm going to choose Signet. Yes, it comes at a cost, but again, you're searching any Cybers in your deck. It's very specific. Or it's very vague versus the AI Meet You. But I am toying with this still. I am still toying with this. As for like Link monsters, you can still play a Baoku, but we're not going into non-Cybers very often. In our entire X deck, we only have Haggard and Little Knight as non-Cybers, and we only have a couple Bestials. Now, on top of that, you have to essentially commit 2 extra deck slots for this because you need a Fiend, and unless you're playing Fiendsmith cards, which then you'd be committing half your extra deck to this, then this just feels like it's still a good card. Don't get me wrong, a Baoku is very good. I think it doesn't have a home in Malice post-Alliance Insight because the extra deck is so tight, and you're either going to be playing Cerberus or Phoenix to get this on the board, or some random Fiend that just doesn't make sense in the main deck. But also on top of that, there's a lot of locks into Cybers in the deck, and most of which are early on in the combo. So getting to this is like you have to take a very wide turn for very little payoff, in my opinion. Heat Soul, I'm seeing a lot of people play this or Transcode. They're not playing both, and that's fair. It's really what you value. Like it's a draw 2, essentially. You draw 1 on your turn, you draw 1 on your opponent's turn. There's also like some really fun interactions I ran into where like you do get low enough on your turn, and then you get to your opponent's turn, and the next time you pay 1,000 will put you under 2k. So you just hold it until a good spot, and then you go Heat Soul, pay 1,000, draw a card, banish himself, summon Cryptor, and then you just have like engine. You have like non-engine in your hand, and then you have a non-target banish on the board. I prefer Transcode, being able to be untargeted, and then it is summonable via the A code, just like this is as well. But I personally like Transcode better because it helps us play under Lancia better than Heat Soul because we'll have more bodies, whereas this will just kind of be sitting there. Last card I want to talk about is Trigate Wizard. I am toying with this, and there are lines to summon this and A code on the board. So that way you have A code, Ransom, and White Binder, or transcode depending on how many bodies you were able to get to. But having all 3 of them co-linked to this card on your end board means you have A code as an Omni Negate, you have Tri-Gate as an Omni Negate. That way you have like extra layer of protection if they have like the one of talents or whatever. The cool thing here too is if it's co-linked to 2 monsters, you can target any card on the field and banish it, which means like it's an ignition effect, obviously. So it's like it get back to you and you go Tri-Gate, like banish Crypta or something on the board, full combo. So I've been toying with this card, but it feels win more almost. Like you already have a very hard to break board without this, and just slapping on a second Omni Negate feels win more to me. I'm still toying with it. I am very much still messing around with this because the line is there, but sometimes you have to choose between transcode or this. And if you choose both sometimes, then you're not getting to A code, or you're committing the Tri-Gate to the A code, so it makes no sense to even summon the Tri-Gate to begin with. So again, messing around with this. It's unfortunate that it doesn't just have 100 extra attack points, but it is what it is. Last card I want to say is worth mentioning is Shifter. Shifter is still at 1. It's still playable. I'm choosing not to run it simply because we have a lot of cards in this version that do want to hit the graveyard. Circular is obviously going to send Sigma to grave. We need cards in grave for Wizard to be active. Just overall, like, Shifter feels a little less valuable in this version of the deck, but it is a one of, so it's like you want to throw it in the side or you find room for it in the main. He does still just win games. All right, so I'm going to show off a handful of combos to really like show off what the deck is capable of off of very specific cards, and what happens when you open X amount of cards. We're also going to show off a line of how to play under Lancia. I think I actually show off 2 lines if you play under Lancia. And also, we're going to talk about like interactions with Nibiru. All right, so the first combo I'm going to show off is if we just open Dormouse. The combo does change a little bit if you open Rabbit, but for the most part, it's going to end on the same stuff. So I'm not going to show off Rabbit. Just know that if you do open just Rabbit, the combo can end to the same location if they have no interruption, but it plays a little harder into Nibiru, which it always has in all of, Malice's existence. So we're going to go ahead and start the game, and we're going to normal summon the Dormouse. We're going to go Dormouse effect, banish the Rabbit. We'll go Rabbit effect, pay 300 to come back. Rabbit effect to set the TB11. I'm seeing a lot of people set GWC. I think it comes down to personal preference. I prefer setting TB11, and I understand like the technical play is like GWC. If you get hit early with something, then you have like GWC to hopefully like gain life points, maybe live a turn or something. I think TB11 has a little more value in my personal opinion. So next we're going to go into Haggard Lizardos. Haggard, banish the Dormouse. Dormouse, come back, pay 300, and then link 3 into the Ransom. Ransom effect, add the field spell. From this point, we are on summon 5, which means we're in nib range. They're not going to nib us here because then we can just go field spell, banish Ransom, and they're not going to want that. So they're going to wait and hold nib until at least Ransom is expended, but also our other names. We've already used Dormouse and Rabbit. We're going to go TB11 here, banish the red Ransom for cost, summon out the white hair, and then we're going to go the Ransom to banish the cat and come back by paying 900. Cat, pay 300 to come back. We are in nib here. Like, this is like a nib scenario where they could just hit us with nib, nuke the board, and we're kind of SOL from here. This is kind of what happens when you open just like Dormouse, is like you are susceptible to nib now because we don't have like the link decoder to facilitate plays better. But it is what it is. From here, we are going to go link 2 into Splash Mage. We will go Splash Mage, summon back the Chessie Cat, the March Hare, and we're going to go White Binder. White Binder effect to banish the TB11 and the March Hare. We'll go March Hare, pay 300 to come back to our hand. And then we are going to activate the White Binder, set the GWC. We will go link 2 into the Wicked. And now we are finally going to activate that field spell. We're going to go field spell, banish the White Binder. What you actually would want to do is banish the Malice in the Mirror to banish the White Binder. I didn't do it here, but you go Malice in the Mirror, banish White Binder, and then you search out a March Hare. I already had March Hare in hand, so I didn't think I had to do it here, but realistically that would have made more sense. It all ends in the same, so we'll go White Binder effect to come back, pay 900, and draw a card, which crazy enough was circular here, but we're going to pretend that it was just any random card because I don't believe I play it, simply because we're just trying to play off of what if we just open Dormouse and like we draw a bunch of dead cards, essentially. So we're going to go Wicked effect. We're going to banish the Dormouse for cost, searching the backup Ad Ignister. We'll go Ad Ignister to summon, use her effect to search the wizard, and I believe we discard Circular. Or no, we discard Imperm. It's fine. Discard any card that's dead in your hand. We will then go Link 3 into Trigate Wizard, because again, I messed around with Trigate Wizard here. So yeah, in this combo, I was still playing the Trigate Wizard, but what you can actually do is like instead just summon like Firewall Dragon, which will perfectly be fine, and then make other plays. I think we make the Firewall Dragon in later combos, but for this one, when I was still toying around with it, we made Trigate Wizard. It still ends on a very respectable end board, so just keep that in mind. From here, we're going to go the Wizard to special summon himself and the cat back. We'll go Link 5 into the A-Code Ad Ignister, and then we'll use his effect, bring back the Binder and the Ransom. So this board's respectable. This board is fine. We end on, like, in my opinion, a better board in the later combos, but we have A-Code, which is an Omnigate. We have Trigate, which is an Omnigate. We have the GWC, which is set, and then we have hopefully a bunch of non-engine in our hand. The March Hare is guaranteed because we did add it back, so we have a pseudo-bestial in our hand. So what we can do is just go like Trigate to negate something of importance first. You have to go Trigate first because he needs to be triple way co-linked, so Trigate's always the first one you activate when it comes to the Omni negates, and then A-Code to like tribute the Binder, and then use either March Hare or GWC to bring back that white Binder. Really just up to you. But that's really it for like if you open Dormouse. The only like I guess difference here is that instead of Trigate you could end on a Firewall. It really is just, you would change up like the combo a little bit, but overall you are susceptible to like nib in a couple of spots. But if you do get nibbed, then you have ways to like crack back, and we'll talk about that when we get to a couple of other plays down the road. But let's go ahead and jump into the next one on if you open just Circular. All right, so this next play is if you open just Circular, and I believe I'm still playing Trigate in this combo as well. But Circular by himself is one card combo. We talked about this in the last week's video, but in this in-depth guide, we're going to really go into like the nitty-gritty of it. So we're going to start the turn. We are going to special summon this Circular by sending Sigma to the graveyard. We'll go Sigma effect to return itself to the field, and then the Circular to add the equation. We're going to link away the Sigma for the Lingaribo. Reason for this is for the Wicked play we're about to make, we do need to have 2 Cybers in the graveyard because we're going to bring back this Circular. We're going to link 2 into Wicked, equation, bring back the Circular, and then Wicked banish the Lingaribo to add backup. Special summon the backup Ad Ignister, use her effect to add the Dormouse. We have not normal summoned yet, so Circular by himself is just full combo for the Malice deck, which is just insane to me. And we have summoned into 5 at this point, so we are in nib range, but they're not going to nib till we commit a Malice to the board because we have not normal summoned. We are going to just go ahead and link 3 into transcode. We're just going to kind of dick around. We're going to try and get some pieces into play before we commit like super hard to anything. We're going to go transcode effect, bring back that Wicked, and then we're going to go link 3 into Trigate Wizard because we have not gone into this guy yet. We're just then going to normal summon the Dormouse. If they have nib, they're going to nib here because we haven't committed anything. We're going to go Dormouse effect, banish the White Rabbit effect, come back, then use its effect to set the TB11. We're going to go link 2 for Splash Mage, bring back Dormouse, link 3 into Ransom, add the field spell. We are going to just go ahead and shotgun that field spell, banishing Mirror effect, banish the Dormouse, add the Hare, Dormouse effect to come back and pay 300. Then we are going to link 3 into the Heart's Cryptor. We've gotten a lot of traction off of quintessentially nothing so far. Off of just Circular. We have built this off of just Circular. We are then going to use March Hare, banish the Ransom, come back, pay 9, and banish the Cat. Cat effect to come back and summon itself. Link 3 into the White Binder, banish the March Hare and the Dormouse, and then we are going to also banish the Cryptor. We're going to go Cryptor 1, Cat 2, or March Hare 2, I mean. So that way we have bodies on board. We're going to go set the GWC off the White Binder. And then we're going to go link 5 for A-Code. A-Code bring back the transcode and the Heart and the Red Ransom. Reason we kind of want transcode and rotations not only to co-link and make Trigate untargetable, but also on top of that, We want White Binder in the graveyard, ideally, for this scenario. So, like, Transcode just is another body to kind of replace that slot. This is the end board here. We are ending on GWC TB11, an untargetable Trigate Wizard, which is an Omni Negate, another Omni Negate from a Code Talker. And then on top of that, we have March Hare, and we have just the ability to mess with graveyards, essentially. I like this end board a lot. That being said, Circular hard plays into Nibiru. Like, if you just normal summon that Dormouse and you have nothing after that, Nib's gonna kill you, unfortunately. But ideally, we have, like, I don't know, a Bestial or something in hand. We have 1,000 ways to, like, extend further if we do get hit with Nib. So realistically, we will have other cards. But this was just if you open Circular. Again, you don't have to play Trigate Wizard. You can play the Firewall Dragon. You can still end on this exact end board with Firewall Dragon instead of Trigate Wizard. It just depends on your personal preference. Next combo is Ash Blossom being full combo, funny enough. If you open just all hand traps and then like a backup, you're fine as long as one of those hand traps is a monster. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually normal summon this Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. We're going to link it away for Almirage. This is why I think Almirage is kind of a must. It makes bad hands like semi-playable. Unfortunately, if they have Ash, you are just kind of cooked, or like Imperm, you're cooked as well, but you can still like try and survive. We're going to go ahead and special summon this backup effect to add the Dormouse and discard the Dormouse. Link 2 for the Haggard. Haggard, banish the Dormouse. Dormouse, come back. Dormouse effect to banish the Rabbit, and then Rabbit effect to come back. You're actually within Nib range when you summon this Dormouse, so you really don't want to be using Dormouse effect here, but we haven't really gotten to talking about Nibiru yet. So, Rabbit, come back. Rabbit effect to set the TB11. Then we go Link 3 for the Ransom. Ransom, add the field spell. And then we go ahead and Link 2 into the Splash Mage. Splash Mage, bring back the Dormouse. Link 3 into Binder. Binder, banish the Dormouse and the Red Ransom. So that way we have fuel for Cryptor as well. Ransom, come back, banish the Cat. Cat, come back. Then we go ahead and make Wicked. We're going to go Field Spell, banish the Malice in the Mirror. Go Malice in the Mirror, banish the White Binder, add the March Hare, White Binder, pay 900 to come back and draw a card. And then we'll go Wicked effect, banish the backup to add Sigma. Because we already have gone through backup once, so realistically we can just search Sigma, and as long as we free up our EMZ, which we're about to do, then we can still summon out this Sigma for one extra body. From here, we're going to go into Link 3, again, the Trigate Wizard. I was really toying with this, but just, again, you could, instead of going Trigate Wizard, make Firewall Dragon. It actually ends up the same, because like, you just use Wicked and Binder to make Firewall Dragon. Just, the combo doesn't really change if you make Firewall Dragon. It's just personal preference. So we're going to go Sigma here to summon himself out, just get that extra body. Go March Hare, banish the Rabbit in our hand, and then we are going to, sorry, not the Rabbit in our hand, the Rabbit in the graveyard to summon out the March Hare. We're just going to go Link 5 into A code, summon out the White Binder and the Red Ransom. So again, we are going to then set the GWC, which we should have done earlier in the turn, but it is what it is. You're starting to see that like everything kind of ends in the same spot. Some lines are more susceptible to Nib, I will admit that. The Rabbit, if you open just Rabbit, it's more susceptible to Nib. If you open just Circular, it's more susceptible to Nib. But the like math doesn't really add up that you're only going to open that stuff. But the fact that you can end on the same end board if you open just a hand trap and like backup is crazy. Like Ash Blossom and Droll being full combo now is like crazy to me. So this next hand is if we open and we get hit with Lancia right out the gate. So Lancia is obviously Malice's biggest problem, and keep in mind you can do this exact same combo if you open Malice name plus backup or Malice name plus Circular. It is the exact same line, but like minor differences, but it ends on the exact same end board. So we are just going to go ahead and normal summon the Dormouse, and we just imagine that we have been hit with Lancia. So we're going to then link away the Dormouse for Almirage. We're going to special summon the backup, add the Wizard, and discard a random card from our hand. Doesn't matter. We are then going to Link 2 and Splash, bring back the backup, and then we're going to Link 3 into Transcode, bring back the Splash, and then we're going to special the Wizard, bringing back the Dormouse. We will Link 3 into White Binder, White binder, set the GWC, link 5 into the A code talker, A code, bring back the transcode, and the white binder. This end board ends on the exact same if you open circular instead of backup. So like there's many options. So Malice can play like a little better under Lancia than they could before. Like this is a respectable end board. We are still under Lancia, ending on a Omni negate that can't be targeted, 3,800 attack points, and on top of that, white binder, like you just tribute the white binder for the Omni negate, and then you go GWC to bring it back, and then you mess with like graveyard on top of that. And if you summon it back in the zone that transcode's pointing at, they can't even target it when you go to do that. So this is like real hard, like anti-detonator in my opinion, because they can't target any of your stuff when you do this. So I'm absolutely like a fan that we can play under Lancia. Maybe not every time, because again, we still have to open circular, or we have to open the backup ad ignister. You can't open wizard in this exact example. Like I guess you could if you opened like a Malice name specifically. The issue is that if you open wizard instead of backup, you will be down one body because backup is a body. But this is a respectable end board for the fact that we are under Lancia. All right, so now I'm going to show a combo of my best test hand so far. Keep in mind, this is a little hyper specific because I opened backup, circular, and a Malice name. That being said, this is not the most unlikely scenario because we are playing Signet. So like if we open Signet plus like circular and a Malice name, or Signet plus backup and a Malice name, or Signet plus backup and circular, like there are scenarios where you actually just still open up this hand. But yes, it is hyper specific, but I want to show like how I play through the line and how I'm playing like around Nibiru. And realistically, the later in the combo we get, the more susceptible we are to Nibiru, but we have everything else in play. So like if we do get hit with Nibiru, it's like not the end of the world. So we're going to go ahead and start the turn, and we're just going to lead with circular. We're just going to hard hit ourselves with the Cybers typing, but we are going to summon the circular by sending Sigma effect, come back, and then circular add the equation. Instead of going in like the wicked route, because we already have a Malice name, so we don't have to do that, we're just gonna go ahead and normal summon the white rabbit, set the GWC, because we already have TB11 in hand. If we didn't have TB11 in hand, I'd probably set TB11, but it's fine. We will then link 3 into the red ransom. We actually set the TB11 there, but it doesn't make a difference. We can do it before or after. Go red ransom effect, add the field spell. We will then go field spell, banish the Malice in the mirror, banish the rabbit, add the hair, rabbit effect to come back from the graveyard, and we are in a good spot. If we get nibbed, it's like fine. We have March Hare, and we have equation to bring back the circular, so that way we can play around it. We have Link Spider, so if we get nibbed, we can summon out the backup. And you're gonna notice we hold this backup for a long time because I just don't need it. Because I open circular, I just don't need it right away. From here, we are just gonna go the link 2 for Splash Mage, bring back the rabbit, link 3 for the binder, banish the red ransom, and bring the red ransom back, banishing the Dormouse from the deck. Dormouse effect to come back. Still haven't banished Cat, and because we're like in a good spot with the ability to play around Nibiru, I actually activate the Dormouse here because, yes, I've expended all the main deck names minus like March Hare, but that's fine because she comes back from hand. I'm not like scared of Nibiru. If they Nibiru me here, I have plenty of follow-up. I have plenty of crackback. So I just go ransom, or sorry, the Dormouse to bring back the cat, or cat come back. And then I'm going to go binder, set the MTP. We have all 3 traps. If I needed one of the traps, I would. We are actually never going to use these, which is crazy. Like some of your end boards, you'll just never have to use any of the traps unless you have to crack back from like interaction of some sort, or dodge like an imperm or something along those lines. From here, we are going to go the Chessy Cat, banish the March Hare, draw 2 cards, March Hare effect to come back to our hand. So Chessy Cat's just a pot of greed at this point. We're going to then go link 4 for the Firewall Dragon. So this is what I was talking about. We get to a point where we are summoning out the Firewall Dragon instead of Trigate. I like the ability to end on a 3-way co-linked Firewall Dragon. It's also just easier to make, especially if you want to go like the transcode line, and just having the ability to just bounce stuff. Firewall also just helps you get like an extra body on board, which is what we're going to heavily take advantage of in this combo. And then the replay sped a little bit, but after Firewall, we're going to activate equation, bring back the circular. We're going to link 2 into Wicked. And then we will activate the firewall effect because we took a body to special summon the backup from our hand. We have not summoned backup via her own effect yet. We're then going to go backup chain 1, wicked chain 2, banishing the white binder who hasn't been banished from graveyard yet to add another backup to our hand because again, we haven't used her effect to summon yet. We're then off of the backup going to search the wizard, and we're just going to discard Droll Lockbird, which is fine. White binder, come back, draw 1 card, and then we're going to go link 3 into the Cryptor. And then we will go backup effect finally to bring herself out. And then we will go wizard, summoning himself and the white rabbit. We will go link 2 into the IP Masquerena. We'll go link 3 into Transcode. Transcode, bring back that IP Masquerena. And then we will go link 5 into the A code add Ignister. A code, bring back Trans and the red ransom. That's it. This board's crazy. I understand. It is a very hyper-specific scenario where you open, like, the gas, the bonkers hand. I get that. And also the very hyper-specific scenario where they have no interaction whatsoever. But I wanted to show off, like, really what the best case, like, one of the best case scenarios is. Because we didn't go through Little Knight at any point on our turn. So Little Knight is still in the extra deck. We have an Omni Negate. We have a 3-way bounce off of Firewall. Firewall can't be targeted. We have IP Masquerena, which can make Little Knight, which will banish something either from our graveyard or their graveyard. We have all 3 traps at our disposal, none of which will have to banish anything for cost. In this exact scenario, we also have Ash and Imperm, which is fine, whatever. We have March Hare, which we did add back to hand, so it's guaranteed to be in our hand in this exact scenario. So March Hare is just even more recursion. Like, there's just, unfortunately, no cracking this board for my opponent. Like, Dark Ruler No More is like the only thing I could think of that was like cracking this board. Like, Evenly doesn't even do it unless they had 2 Evenlys. But even then, we could, if they went like the second Evenly, we would just go Firewall, like put a bunch of guys back in the extra deck so that way we don't have to banish all of our stuff. But overall, like, this is again the like best case scenario in my opinion. And again, this isn't the most unrealistic end board. We only did that with 3k life points to spend, but this end board is very strong and realistically almost impossible to break. We were playing around Nibiru. We were playing around all of these other hand traps. Imperm was like the scariest one probably, and that was not really even relevant even then. Like, if they took away our ability to get to Equation, that hurt a little bit because then we wouldn't have been able to like end on like IP specifically. But overall, like, this end board's crazy. And that's really it for the guide. I didn't talk about it much in the combos as much as I would have liked to, so I'm going to talk about it now. But like, playing around Nibiru is big in this deck. The deck heavily plays into Nibiru, so using your resources wisely is like important. Link Spider heavily helps with this because if you have the Add Ignisters in your hand, then you just hold them until you absolutely need to use them for like an extra body or whatnot, and then if they nib you before you summon those, then you have the recursion, you have the follow-up. Equation, again, helps you play around Nibiru. Sigma can help you play around Nibiru if you haven't used it and you like see it later in the turn. But the deck does play into Nibiru really hard, so being smart around Nibiru is important. March Hare does a lot with helping with this because if you go into Ransom, like you do the normal line of like Dormouse, Banish Rabbit, and then you make Splash Mage instead of the Haggard, then you would bring back Dormouse and then summon out the White Binder. White Binder, add Field Spell. Field Spell, banish the Malice in the Mirror. Banish the Dormouse, add Hare, and then you summon back the Dormouse. Next thing you know, you have 2 bodies on the board to play the game more. More times than not, if you're not getting hit with any form of interaction, you will find that you are never really using TB11 or GWC on your turn anymore unless you have like a really bad hand. But overall, like, the deck is very fluid with being able to find your resources as much as you need to. Backup, being able to search any of the Malice names helps, so that way if you don't open Malice names and you open Ignister, then you're able to still find your resources. So that way, like, it makes cards like Goldstark and Terraforming a little less valuable because you don't need to secure the fact that if you don't open one of them, then you open a card that will get you there, because Add Ignister is kind of getting you there. The Field Spell is a little less valuable this time around because we have like Malice in the Mirror and we have other resources to be able to extend further. Droll and Lockbird is a little more threatening because we do draw cards. We do add cards like Signet, or the backup Add Ignister is going to add. Circular is going to add. So Droll is a little more threatening this time around. A very well-timed Ash Blossom can hurt. Like, if you summon Ransom and they Ash your Malice in the Underground, or even better, if they Ash your Malice in the Mirror, and that can hurt can hurt a lot, actually. So it really is just like, we are a little more susceptible to specific hand traps this time around because we lost Decoder. Decoder was really helping us chain block for the field spell, which is something that we were heavily relying on to play around like Nibiru. But Nibiru, as much of a threat as it is still like very well placed to be able to play around. You can get to all of your pieces before they nib you, so that way like nib doesn't feel as impactful as it should, because you will still end on the pieces you need to hopefully either survive a turn or just win the game outright. It is very important though that before you summon the A code talker that you have a link monster like Firewall or even Trigate Wizard if you want to play it in the zone that he's going to be pointing to, because his effect to Omni Negate only tributes a link monster. It does not have to tribute the monsters that he summons. It doesn't have to tribute a 2300 attack Cyberse monster. It just has to tribute one link monster that he's pointing to, meaning like if they want to hold nib till the end, as long as you have like Firewall where the A code is at, you go like summon A code effect, they go nib, you just tribute the Firewall. And yes, you lose Firewall for your end board, but you don't lose the A code, which is your Omni Negate for their turn. So it's very, very important. But like I said, that really is it for the in-depth guide to Malice post-Alliance Insight. Let me know what you all think down in the comment section below. But also, while you're down there, don't forget to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and answer the following 3 questions if you want to have a chance at winning the Malice core. Question number 1 is what deck are you looking forward to the most post-Alliance Insight? Is it Malice or is it another deck entirely? Question number 2 is what do you think is better, the Firewall, Trigate, or the Transcode Talker? And question number 3 is why do I personally think a Baoku is not going to be good in post-Alliance Insight Malice? But other than that, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. See ya!